If you've ever been concerned that editing your Instagram videos in a third-party app might be hurting your reach, this episode is for you. Welcome to this week's Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast. This is your go-to source for actionable advice and the latest news in social media and digital marketing. Every Thursday in just 8 to 12 minutes, I'm going to be delivering quick, impactful tips to help you stay ahead in the fast-paced digital landscape. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to this week's Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Instagram reach. And there's a lot of myths out there. It's actually great because the head of Instagram's own Adam Mosseri, he actually debunked this myth for us right over on the gram. I've included a link to him talking about this myth. It's in the show notes. But I wanted to talk about what this myth for an entire podcast episode because it's something that I get asked every time I go to an event, and I am the only social media person in the room. So we're going to debunk the myth and talk about what really affects your reach when it comes to editing and posting videos on Instagram. So let's dive right in. Okay, so how many of you have heard or maybe even believed that using third-party apps to edit your Instagram videos will hurt your reach? So I'm talking about like using CapCut, or if you're using anything outside of Instagram's own editing feature that is built into Instagram. How many of you have heard that it will hurt your reach if you do anything and upload it to the platform? I know that I've heard this concern from many creators, and trust me, it's easy to see why this myth has stuck around. But Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, recently cleared the air in one of his videos, and I'm going to break down exactly what he said. So first things first, let's just talk about what the myth is. So many creators think that if they use a third-party app to edit their videos and then upload it to Instagram, their content won't perform as well. They're worried that Instagram's algorithm is going to lower them in the algorithm or even punish their videos because they weren't edited using Instagram's in-app tools. Sound familiar? Well, here is the truth. So according to Mosseri, that's just simply not the case. He said, and I quote, "If you edit your video in a third-party app, that will not affect your reach on Instagram. So go ahead, breathe a sigh of relief. You can keep using your favorite editing tools without worrying about Instagram penalizing it." But there is a catch. What does affect your reach is when your video has a watermark that sticks around. So we're talking about just taking that TikTok video and uploading it to Instagram. Yes, that is what it will hurt your reach. If there is a watermark that sticks around throughout the entire video. So if you're editing your reels or videos in an app that slaps a watermark on top of it, so like if you're using the free feature, folks, it's time to just, cough up the dough and pay for it so that the watermark is not there. Or like I said, TikTok. If you are repurposing something from TikTok and it has the TikTok logo or any other of editing tools, logos, brandings, that will hurt your reach. Why? You might be saying, well, why? And this is because Instagram's algorithm recognizes that watermark and deprioritizes that content because it looks like it's being repurposed from other platforms. So I want you to think about it from Instagram's perspective. They want users to stay on their platform, engage with content created for Instagram, not recycled TikTok or other apps. So it really makes sense that using videos with a big watermark from another app would get less traction. And Mosseri's advice is if you're using another app to edit your videos, just make sure you remove the watermarks before uploading them to Instagram, and then you'll be good to go. And now for just a quick break. You've heard me talk about some of my favorite social media tools on the show, and one of them is a tool called Metricool. Metricool allows you to plan, analyze, and grow your digital presence all in one place. From websites to LinkedIn to YouTube, you can track everything that you're doing online and see just what's working and what isn't. Check out Metricool today at katiebrinkley.live/cool. Just a note, if you use the links I provide, I may receive compensation. All right, let's get back to the show. I want you all to think about this, and I talk about this a lot when I talk about the 4-post strategy. So one of the first things I say when I go and present to different businesses and conferences about posting less is that you don't need to be on so many social media platforms. They all have a different culture. They all have a different way of creating content. Instagram wants you to create that unique content. It doesn't care if you upload it and that to all the platforms, but it wants it to feel like it was made just for Instagram. So now that we know the real deal, let's talk about some practical ways to make sure that your videos are watermark free. Well, if you're doing the 4-post strategy, you'll be fine. But if you're not doing the 4-post strategy, using apps with the paid versions. So like I said before, many third-party video apps offer the free versions that will put the watermark on your videos. If you're creating videos, it's not that much. I think that for CapCut, I've paid maybe $50 for the year. I mean, the paid version usually gets you to remove the watermark. And if you're serious about your content, investing in the paid version could make a world of difference. Tip number 2, edit or crop out the watermark. So if the watermark is small or only appears in the corner of the video, you might be able to crop it out, but just be careful not to lose any important parts of your video in the process. And then last but not least, export without the watermark. Some apps actually allow you to export your videos without the watermark. There are some third-party tools like Snaptic, I know is one. I mean, like there's a number of software sites where you can drop a URL in and then it'll remove the watermark. I mean, honestly, it's just easier if you create your video in a third-party tool and knock it out of the park for that. And then you can upload it wherever you want, watermark free. So why does this little detail, whether your video has a watermark or not, matter so much for your Instagram strategy? Well, like I always like to say, the algorithm is your friend if you understand how to work with it. So Instagram's goal is to keep people on the platform and show as many ads to it as possible because that's how they get their money. They want them to stay on and engage with original content. If your video appears to be recycled from another platform like TikTok, Instagram's algorithm is less likely to push your video out to a broader audience. And this is especially important for anyone that's posting on Instagram for a brand or a business. Your reach is everything, and a simple thing like leaving a watermark on your video could be holding you back from getting in front of more people. All right, so here is the final takeaway. Feel free to use whatever editing tools you love. Like I've mentioned CapCut numerous times. It's what we use here at Next Step Social. So whether that's InShot, Adobe Rush, CapCut, whatever, but be mindful of watermarks. Remove them before posting on Instagram and you won't have to worry about your reach taking a hit. It's all about working smarter, not harder. And this little tweak can make a huge difference for your Instagram strategy. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.